are live. What's up, beasties? It's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. Woo! I'm excited to be back with you guys tonight. Excited to have a very special guest, an awesome author who is the author of these beautiful books you see behind me. Somebody that I've been talking to for a while, that we were supposed to do this back in December, but it's a long story. But let's just say I thought I lost a new cat and ended up just hiding under a chair that I didn't see till much later. But anyway, he's been gracious enough to reschedule with me, so I'm excited to have him here tonight. His books look and sound awesome. I cannot wait to get to them, and I cannot wait to talk to him tonight about them and to get you guys to hear all about his awesome books and about his journey. It's going to be a fun time. So without further ado, who's here? That's right. It's my good friend, Dave Dobson. Welcome, Dave. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks so much. Yeah, part of the schedule was my fault. I think I
in the beginning, but then I really dropped the ball.
No, it's fine. I'm glad the cats
you had a much better reason that was kind of out of your control. So how did that all go? Because I've had to have the same thing because of.
Well, I didn't know I'd be
got through it,
but I had 5. They took them out. Everything was okay.
That's good. That's good.
Back in 3 years. Which is
man, yep.
Too soon. Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much what I'm on too. My I'm not quite at the age that I have to, but my older sister had colon cancer, and luckily everything went good, and she is in remission and doing well. But because of family, family history or whatever, I had to get it checked, and now I got to do it I'm on the cycle now, so I've been there. I know.
Yeah. This was my second one, and I got the little pills this time instead of the drink. It is so much better with the pills.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe did I do the pills? I think I did, because I did not want to do the drinks. I think they gave me pills too. Yeah, because I've heard horror stories about the drink.
Awful. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I know it's never good timing either when you have those. It's like you got to do it, but you really can't go anywhere. So
nope.
You got to be at home. We got some awesome people in the chat already. Let me shout them out real quick. We got Timothy Janata, who's going to be on Beast Friends Forever soon. An awesome indie author. Thanks for being here. And Rowdy from Rowdy Player One is here. What's up, Rowdy? Good to see you, my friend. Awesome booktuber. Check out his channel if you have not yet. He is awesome. And then there's a few more people in here, but if you don't want to leave anything in the chat box, that is fine. You can just hang out, relax, enjoy the show. But if you think of a question and you want to throw it in there, please do, and I'll make sure to ask Dave. And also for everyone, whether you're here live or on replay, we appreciate those of you watching this on replay as well. In the description, I have Dave's website and his books linked if you want to go and check those out. And if you don't, after we're done talking, you're going to want to, because Dave's awesome. So why don't you start us off, Dave? I introduced you, but just tell us a little bit about the genre that you write in general, and then we can dive into more about the books, because you have quite a catalog already.
Yeah. I've got 10 novels out, plus a children's book from a long time ago. I don't really write in one genre. They tell you that you should, so that your Amazon algorithm will sort of zero in on you. And I have failed at that, as I have failed at many things. But I write a lot of fantasy and some sci-fi, and then some sort of contemporary mysteries, thrillers. And then I actually am currently in the middle of finishing up a romance novel with a friend of mine. She writes romance, and she had this idea that we should do a book where we're writing alternating chapters. So I'm writing the guy and his perspective.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's been tons of fun.
Oh, I think that's awesome. I love when two authors do that. I think that's like the best way to do it. If you have two POVs and you go back and forth and you both just take that one character, and then it's so cool because then they literally have their own voice because a different author wrote it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. We were worried that our writing styles would be too different, but
Right.
we ended up, I think, both of us kind of took a step towards each other, and so we ended up. So it's each chapter's from the different person's POV, so it changes a little bit, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
the tone I think works okay.
That's
Anyway, we're really excited about that. That was
that's cool. How is that the first time you've done something like that?
yeah, the first time I've done a kind of a co-op thing like that.
Cool. Is that a big like a drastic change for like your process and writing everything, having to write it with somebody else, or
Yeah, yeah.
when it comes to just your part, you can kind of do things the same, or is it constant like communication kind of?
Yeah, well, so she is very much a plotter. She wanted to know, not like she didn't want to know every last thing that was going to happen, but she wanted to kind of know who they were, what situation they were in.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted a couple of milestone events, and
Yeah.
I am a total seat of the pants guy. So like, I don't.
Oh, that's an interesting mix then.
Yeah, yeah. So we did it mostly her way, although there's a really funny moment. She likes this enemies to lovers kind of thing. So they start out kind of, not thinking very much of each other.
Yeah.
And so we wrote that, but then they were starting to interact some more, and they end up both on bad dates at the same restaurant.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And they actually ditch the people they were with and end up kind of saving each other from the bad dates, and
That's awesome.
and have a talk. And then at the end of that chapter, they talk about whether that's a date or not, because neither of them is really, has he ever considered being into the other one. And at the end of that, I had her character kiss mine on the cheek, and and she was like, "What the? We're halfway through. You can't. There's no way that works."
So they can't do that yet.
Yeah, I know. I
got to build up to that, Dave. Come on.
I screwed up everything. Yeah, and we've actually left the little comment that she wrote in our shared document, which is, "Oh shit," awesome. In the middle of it. So, and then she fixed it. She had the female character chicken out. So like she just goes like hot and cold, and then just like basically runs away, and then he's left like, what? And it really made the book actually, I think, a lot more fun. But it was, so I was not a great writing partner there. But
you gotta have the tension, right? The will they, won't they, will they, won't they, the whole time. Timothy says, "You destroyed the tropes, sacrilege."
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, she her outline actually included. She pasted into it. She said, "We're not going to follow this," but she had one that was basically, by 10,000 words, your characters should have done this, this, and this. By 20,000 words, you should have established. And I was like, I can't. I have never written like this. I don't ever have it that planned out. But what ended up happening was we wrote it from like May to October, and we usually meet every month. Even before we started working on this, we've kind of met just because she's writing and I'm writing, and we were friends from when we were both teaching.
Yeah.
And so every month we'd kind of look at the next, 20% of the book and be like, okay, what are the things that are going to happen now? And then we'd send chapters back and forth, 2 or 3 times a week. And it was just a total blast. Yeah.
That's so fun.
Never had more fun writing than that. That was
that's cool. It's going to make you want to do it more. You're going to have to find somebody to write a fantasy or sci-fi book like that.
Yeah, no, I think that would be
that would be fun.
Yeah.
I've always thought like it'd be cool if you could get a group of like a few, like 3 or 4 writers, fantasy writers together, and do a multi-POV fantasy book where each one took a POV. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? Trying to write a book with 4 people or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. But I'm sure it'd be fun. We got a couple of people in here. Let me shout them out real quick. Lopez is here. What's up? Thanks for being here. And Ellen Holmes, another awesome indie author. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So yeah, that would be. But so I've got 2 of your books here.
Yeah.
I've got a sci-fi one, Daros,
Yep.
Very cool cover, by the
Oh,
way.
thank you.
And I love this one too. This is book one of your probably your longest series you have right now.
Yeah, that's right. There's
The
4 in
Inquisitor's
that one.
Guild, Flames over Frosthelm, and I'm super excited about both of them, but especially this because I've always loved Inquisitor characters, and I've always wanted to read a series or a book where they were like the MC. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this
Oh,
one.
cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
so tell us about these. I guess let's start with your kind of your biggest series one. Tell us a little bit about Inquisitor's Guild.
Yeah. So I like I said, I like to write mysteries and fantasy and all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I want to do a sort of detective story, buddy cop kind of thing, but in a fantasy world. So that was the sort of genesis of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's got two really young inspectors in the Inquisitors Guild, which I set up, which is a detective agency in Frosthelm, the city, and they are like the tiniest, worst funded branch of city government. You know,
I
there's
love
the
it.
city guard who's got all sorts of
Oh
soldiers,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and that. But this is just a group that all functions out of one building, and they're assigned to go around and investigate crimes in the capital city. It's like a city state. And then some of them also are scouts and spies who go out into the neighboring town. So
Oh,
the
that's
Inquisitor
cool.
Guild covers both of those functions. But these two guys, there's one who's small and scrawny and knows a little bit of magic, and he's kind of a nerd and he's pretty timid. And he has made friends with this other guy whose actual name is Beauregard, but nobody's allowed to call him that. He goes by Boog, and
Oh,
he's this
nice.
big hulking guy. He's also really smart, but he acts gruff and tough, and so the two of them are sort of a odd couple
That's
thing.
cool.
Yeah, and so they're just out of the apprenticeship program, and they've been drafted into investigating small crimes, basically, and so they've been assigned to a jewel theft, and they're running around, following up suspects, and then they stumble into a big problem because the guy they were following meets with this sorceress in a bar, and then a few moments later, she vanishes, and the guy they were following just explodes.
Oh
Um,
man,
yeah, for no reason that they can
that's
understand.
wild.
Yeah, yeah, and so they end up figuring out that one. Well, anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but they start investigating, and it turns out there's something way deeper than just the jewel
Yeah,
theft, and yeah,
yeah.
and there are all these, evil wizards and scheming nobles and all kinds of stuff running around, and they're having to kind of piece it together as they go. The Inquisitors Guild has this cool magical artifact, which is
Mhm.
the Augur's Pool. And if you put stuff around the edge, it'll give you little glimpses of any
Oh,
time those objects have come into contact with each other. And so they have that to use as kind of a magical investigative tool, but they end up screwing that up too. Uh, anyway,
I
yeah,
love
so
it.
it's meant to
Oh
be
man,
kind of heroic and fun.
yeah.
I think of it as kind of Princess Bride meets CSI.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a wonderful combination. I
yeah,
love both
yeah,
of those.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, we
So
must have a reader of yours in here because Lopez said Boog and Marty before you even started
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
Oh
it.
yeah,
So
that's
there
right.
you go.
That's the two of them.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah,
And it was funny, right before you talked about the character blowing up, Timothy said, "Do heretics get ignited?" And then you said it blew up, and he said, "Oh, I was kind of right."
yeah.
Uh, so, so right now there's four books in this, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's four, and I'm working on another one.
Nice.
I've got them here. I have all of my books. You only have two.
I
Um,
know. I love your covers. We'll talk about that in a minute, but
yeah, yeah. So what I wanted to do was make a series, but I really don't like books that are cliffhangers or where what you're following just doesn't end, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I got to
yeah.
go wait for the other book, or
Right.
buy it or
Oh
something.
yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
and so
Yep.
each of these is a mystery and adventure that's contained. Like
Okay.
when it starts at the beginning,
Right.
it goes through
That
the
that like individual
yeah,
mystery is solved by the end, but then there's an overarching, kind of like a TV show, right?
yeah,
As
yeah.
seasons. Yeah.
And the other thing I did was well, that's how a lot of mystery fiction works. Like
Yeah. Yep.
if you look at Hercule Poirot and that, like the same detective comes back or Jack Reacher, solves a bunch of things. And so mine are a little bit like that, except that in the subsequent books, I kind of felt like I had explored those two guys and their partnership completely, and so I wanted to do something a little different. And so when I wrote the second one, I took Boog, who's the big, burly guy, and he ends up not partners with Marty anymore because of some internal stuff going on, and so he actually ends up training an apprentice who's gotten on the wrong side of some disciplinary stuff, and so he and she end up going around and investigating. It turns out the stuff that she was getting in trouble for is totally bogus, and so he starts to feel like he should help her out, but then she's really independent. And anyway, so each of the books actually has a different main character. They're all in the Inquisitors Guild and they're all investigating cases, but they're totally different in terms of the people that you're following.
Wow. Yeah, so and, everyone's like that. All the first four and the fifth you're working on all have been that way, where you have
So
very cool.
And I like it because that means I can kind of write as many as I want to.
And it's not just one person's story, right?
Yeah. But if people like them, they know what they're kind of getting when they come back. But and the characters from the first ones appear later.
Do they appear or are referenced still? It's like they're still part of it, just not the main focus of that.
Right. Yeah,
that's cool. I like that. Do you do you have plans for it? Like, do you plan to circle back around to characters or do like an Avengers team up type book where everyone has to come together, or are you just taking it one at a time and seeing how long it goes?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these because I started doing the sci-fi and then the other mysteries. So there's been a bit of a gap between the fourth one and this one I'm working on now. In part because I don't want them to get stale and I need to kind of think of new ideas, because if you're just doing like another episode of Murder, She Wrote or whatever in the same place, it's kind of like, So I have to come up with a cool idea and a way to use the setting a little differently. And so I think I've done that with this fifth one now, but awesome. But yeah, I don't have, like I just said, I'm not a planner at all. So I don't have like the plots for all 12, or whatever. Figured out. I kind of do them whenever they feel like the right thing to do. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. All right. So that's that one. Then tell us about your sci-fi here. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So that's the first sci-fi one that I wrote. And it's, I started that one out. The premise was there's this smuggler's daughter who's on her dad's ship and she's doing like remote high school, but he's flying her around and, they're trading, but they're also involved in some kind of shady stuff, but he's trying to keep her out of that.
Yeah.
And so they arrive at this mining world and they're carrying like mostly worthless stuff, grain or something. And he tells her as they start to sort of wait to be able to dock that he's got something that he's going to meet somebody on the planet and, hand over, and then they're going to have enough money to pay off the ship. But then right when that happens, an alien fleet just materializes out of nowhere. And they start blowing ships out of the sky. Their ship gets hit and it's going down. And her dad's like, get to the escape pod. I'm going to try to land it.
Wow.
And so she ends up dropping to the planet all on her own with nobody else. And then he's out of the picture and she doesn't know where the ship is going. And she's on this planet that's now actively being invaded by aliens. And so that was the premise I had. And I wrote some chapters of it. And what I realized was that I was having a problem because her perspective was too limited. Like she had no idea what was going on. She had no way to find out what was going on.
That's true.
And so I set it aside for about a year. And when I came back to it, I had this idea, what I need is somebody in the invading fleet who knows what they're trying to do.
Yep.
And so that one I ended up doing two perspectives. They're not strictly alternating, but you do one for a chapter or two and then switch. And I don't like writing people who are schmucks. I really like, scrappy characters who are trying to do the right thing. And so I had a problem because the alien fleet is terrible people who are attacking this planet. So I made the other character a secret rebel in the fleet, trying to like hamstring their efforts. But she's in a society where people get killed instantly. It's like a society that's taken Darwinian evolution way too far. And so if you show any sort of weak trait as decided upon by your captain or admiral or whoever, you can just be executed. And they have this rapid learning chamber. And so they stick you, if you're the navigator, then and you get killed, they're going to grow a new navigator. And they show up on the bridge, all glistening and, completely newbie in a little bit. And so she is just trying not to get killed. She doesn't know exactly what she's supposed to be doing. But anyway, yeah. And so so that was a really fun character to play around with. And she gradually figures out what they're trying to do. And Brekka, who's the human, it travels across the planet a little bit, trying to stay out of danger and meet some allies and stuff. And then, yeah, so that one is kind of what's going on the planet and how are they both going to survive it and figure out what they're doing. And I just had a blast writing that one.
Oh man. So then you've done more sci-fi. Have you stayed in this story setting or have you gone to other things?
Yeah. So I've done 2 books and about half of a third. All of these are set in a far future where Earth spread out and colonized a bunch of different systems and was pretty big. So, sort of like the Star Trek Federation, where people are on a bunch of different planets. But in my setting, there was a big war that started from the interior, back on Earth and some of the first colonies. And that war actually cut off access to all of the jump gates that you need to get from planet to planet. Yeah. And so these books, my 2, and then the third one I'm writing, are set in these outer worlds that have gradually been able to kind of connect to each other, but they have no idea what's happened. And it's been, 500 or 600 years since everything went dark in the middle of human culture. And so there's, 20, 30 council worlds that are on the outside, on the fringes of where humans used to control everything. And so that's the setting. It's far future. It's got, faster than light drive, but limited by these jump gates. And there's some alien races that are part of this new sort of council and so she's got a couple alien friends and they know of others. So, and then the invaders are an alien species they haven't ever encountered. So, yeah. And so the next book that I wrote, which is Kenai, that's this one, is set in that same far future.
Yeah, I love that cover too.
Yeah, and one of my friends did this, and that's she's a really great artist. Her son was about 8 when she did it, and she used his Nerf pistol as the model for the Space Marine. You can kind of see the Nerf.
That's a fun little behind the story. That's cool.
Yeah, but this one it's the same setting, but totally different characters. Like they would never meet each other. But this one's a Space Marine who's been kind of disgraced and thrown out of the service, and is in a bad way. And she takes a security job on an archaeological dig on a planet that has really old alien ruins. And so that's the setup for that one. And she's there in what's supposed to be like a job that would accept her despite her past, and it shouldn't be too hard because there's nothing alive on the planet. But then it rapidly becomes apparent that there's something bigger going on, and the people that hired her weren't being entirely truthful. And even the guy she's working for has some secrets, and then stuff just completely falls apart. And so it's more of a military sci-fi, although still, a lot of space opera stuff in there too. And so she's on this planet, with all of her support kind of gone and having to, but she was a scout infantry in the Space Marines in the patrol. So she's kind of got some skills to put in that. And it turns out that the planet isn't how it was promised to be. So she meets some other kinds of folks too. Yeah. Yeah. So that one's a lot of fun too. This one actually won the self-published sci-fi competition.
I saw that. Yeah, that's
So,
why I'm pumped to read it. Congrats on that. That's awesome,
oh,
man.
thanks. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, Daros was a semifinalist, so
I'm not
I've had
surprised.
some
There you go.
luck in that. Yeah.
Let me shout out a couple people in here real quick. We got EL Montague just popped in here. Awesome indie author. Thanks for being here, EL.
Hey,
No
Derek.
worries. He just wrapped up his writing group. Earlier, when you talked about schmucks, he said he loves writing schmucks.
I know a lot of people do. A lot of people are totally into the anti-hero, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ellen loved the cover. Said such a neat cover.
Oh, thank you.
And Rowdy said he just filmed his TBR video for February, and Kina is one of the books on it, so he's looking forward to reading it. So pretty
Awesome.
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we talked about the fantasy, the sci-fi, and then you said that you're writing some kind of mystery thriller ones too, or something?
Yeah. Those are here. I got 3 of those. They're all set in the real world.
Yes, I was gonna say I've seen that one cover. The one that's like somebody driving.
Oh yeah. What goes
Yeah.
That's the
I
first
wondered
one.
if that was part of those. Oh yeah, cool covers, man.
I can't
See,
get
what I love what I know, I hate when mine does that too.
Yeah.
What I love what you do is how you, even though you write different genres, your covers for each have their own feel. Like those mystery ones have a different look, but they all are the same in that genre. And then your sci-fi ones, and then your fantasy ones. And I think that's cool because it keeps it like, if someone likes your writing, they can see books and be like, oh, well, this is a sci-fi one, or this is a mystery. So that was really smart by you to do it that way, I think.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I always want to use real artists. So these are all actually the same artist.
Those are cool.
Abby, who's my son's fiance. She does all of these.
Yeah, so you've got all these people in real life that have done covers for you, and are very
Well, not everybody. I mean, a couple of them are from people I've met online or recruited through art sites. My most recent one, I redid the cover for
that one's
Glorious
cool
and Epic Tale of Lady Isovar to make it more sort of cartoony, because the book is very kind of, it's meant
humor.
In the Inquisitors Guild ones, I'm trying to be funny and do a detailed mystery story and have big emotional stakes and all of that. In this one, I make a ton of jokes, and it's meant to be much sillier. It's still it's got some, I mean, the characters care about stuff, and it's got some big emotional beats, but it's very, it's got some very dumb parts too. And so I wanted a cover that would match that. So
that's cool. I love it. Josh from Already Overbooked is here. He said, "What's up?" He also said the book was fantastic. So there you go.
Great. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. So I think we talked about all. Was there any other, besides the children's book you said from a long time ago?
Yeah.
I think we hit on them all. Now that was your first book, the children's book that you wrote?
Yeah, that one was my wife's parents still run a children's literature publishing company.
That's cool.
And they had a book that was written by a 12-year-old called Will We Miss Them, which was about endangered species. And she, is this precocious kind of 12-year-old who wrote a whole children's book on her own. And it did really well. And so they wanted a sequel for it. But she was no longer 12. She was now 14 or 15 and wasn't as interested in doing another book. So they asked if I could do it. I was in grad school at the time in geology. My degrees are in marine geology and paleoclimate. So, that was a fun thing to take on. And I did the sequel to that one called Can We Save Them? So it's about endangered species and a whole bunch of different ones and trying to figure out.
Fantastic children's book topic for kids to learn about endangered species. That's cool.
Yeah, some of the species by now, that's been 20 plus years. Some of them are extinct, and some of them have been saved. So we could save some of them, it turns out. But,
man. So that, unfortunately, the answer to the question was no for some of them, right?
Can be bad.
But let me see. Oh, because you're going to be on Josh's channel tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want to hang out with Dave again, come tomorrow night to Already Overbooked's channel. But expect a lot of questions tomorrow, Dave.
Cool. I look forward to it.
After he read your book.
I'll have to make sure I wear a different shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, you might get some people from tonight there.
Yeah,
You better
right.
make sure you put a different shirt on. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I mean, those books all sound awesome. They're all gorgeous, man, and
No, thank you.
I'm impressed with your catalog and just looking through everything. You've gotten a lot of reviews on Amazon, which is awesome, and not just for like one, but for like all of them. Like that's awesome. That's got to
Yeah,
feel.
I've been trying to figure out the sort of indie author thing, and
Yeah,
I think like a lot of people, I've done a lot of stuff that hasn't worked and spent a
yeah,
lot of money in ways that did nothing, and
right.
so it's hard to figure out. But
Hmm.
and there's no sort of single thing that'll
Yeah,
work for you. But I'm starting to kind of figure out what I'm doing,
yeah.
and I have some folks that'll come back and read whatever I do, which is really
That's
really
good.
cool.
That's really awesome. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That connection. That's cool. I love it. All right. Well, why don't we take a sidestep and take us back to when you were just young Dave? What got you into fantasy, sci-fi? Was it books, movies, TV shows? All that stuff. And
Yeah.
then at what point did you start getting into writing? And then eventually, I mean, you talked about the children's book, which was first, but when did you really decide you were going to go for it and start writing books? I know that's a
Yeah.
lot, but just take us through your entire life, basically.
Um, well, the first time I started kind of really thinking that fantasy was neat was when I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7. My dad had copies of all of the Oz books, the Wizard of Oz, and there are a whole bunch of more in that series
Yep.
with really cool
Oh, yeah.
illustrations from,
Yep.
and those were his.
And a little dark too. If you a little dark too, those books. They're not
Some of them
quite
are,
the same.
chopped up
They're
to
not quite
pieces
the
and
same as the
stuff like
movie.
that. But those were his from when he was a kid. So they were all from like the
Oh man.
1940s editions and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And we had them, and I started reading them. I could read, pretty early, and so I started in on them very young, and I just loved the kind of magical places and weird people and all of that kind of stuff that are in all of those books. And so that got me totally hooked on magic and fantasy and that kind of stuff. And then I did a lot of reading in I don't know if you know Andrew Lang's. He was a Scotsman from like 100 plus years ago, but he went around and collected a whole bunch of fairy tales and published them in a series of books that are colors. So it's like the blue fairy book, the purple fairy book. Yeah. And my library had all of those, and they were all like, 500 pages, but each one of them was a fairy tale with, magical beings and witches and all kinds of stuff. So I used to check one of those out of the library. My mom is a librarian, retired now. And so she would make sure we got to the library every week and, came out with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so as I got older, I branched out into other things and, a lot of different authors, and got into sci-fi too. I'm probably older than some of your audience and you, but I was born in '69. So when Star Wars came out in '78, I was like the prime age.
You were
Star Wars. Yeah.
Man.
And, it wasn't like a new Star Wars movie when you're 9. It was like the first one. I can remember we were visiting my grandparents, and my uncle said, "Oh, there's this cool movie that I got to see. It's got these, kind of space knights with laser swords." And I was like, "What?" And then that summer, I got my parents to take me so many times. I watched it probably 7, 8 times that summer, and I totally fell in love with sci-fi. Then I'd watched earlier sci-fi, but that was the one that was so much better than all of the stuff before. I was watching Doctor Who with my dad, and there'd be like space movies or robot movies and stuff, but Star Wars was just had the mythology and the magic and everything. Yeah. And so I was basically lost to.
Okay, I got a question. I always am curious when I get to talk to somebody who kind of got to watch the movies as they came out, because I was born a few years after. I was born in '83, so I was born a little after that they came out. So, And if you're watching this and you don't know what happens in the movie I'm about to talk about, I apologize. If you've never watched Star Wars and you want to be completely surprised and somehow have had earmuffs on your whole life, don't listen to this next part. But did you know that Vader, going into the movie, that Vader was Anakin Skywalker, or were you completely surprised by that? Like, had you had it
No.
spoiled for you or anything?
Well, see, Anakin wasn't a character until the
Well, that
reboot.
he was Luke's father. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but no, you had no idea.
Yeah.
Like people were
I'm sure it blew
gasping
your mind.
in the
Yeah.
theater, yeah, when that happened. And it was really funny because there was a fairly long time between Star Wars and then Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of sort of mythology grew up around it after the first movie. And some of that was like books by Alan Dean Foster and some other folks. And they really followed the Luke and Leia love kind of affair really hard, you know, because they didn't know.
Right.
And,
yeah.
and then it turns out that they're like,
we can't make those canon anymore.
Yeah. And all of that was like, oh, wow. So yeah, we were convinced at the end of the first movie that, you know, Kiss for Luck, and you know she wasn't into Han Solo, and they were just fighting, and then so there was that level stuff that was totally unknown. And then when Empire came out and the big reveal, Luke, I am your father, you know, that was just completely like, you know, screams in the movie theater.
I bet.
Yeah,
that must have been awesome because like by the time I watched it, I'd heard jokes about that so many times that I already knew, you know, but. So I can only imagine how cool of a reveal that would be.
Oh, it totally was. Oh. Yeah, and you have to remember that was a different time too, because that was before even VHS.
Yeah.
And so you saw Star Wars, and it was in theaters for a really long time, but then it wasn't. Yeah. And you couldn't go see it again. Like there was no streaming, there was no video store even. Yeah. It was just gone, and you were like heartbroken that, you know, this thing that you had loved. Maybe it was eventually going to be on TV with, you know, commercials, but they didn't even put it on TV for like 10 years or something. So that's
it was wild to think of.
Yeah. And so you're reading books and playing with the toys, and then, you know, video games started to come out that were related to it. But yeah, it was.
What a time.
Yeah, totally cool.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I sidetracked you, but so you watched Star Wars, you fell in love with the whole sci fantasy.
Yeah, and I read a ton of Heinlein. Without really understanding everything that he was into or puzzling, you know. But,
I hear you. Yeah.
And then I got into like Harry Harrison, Stainless Steel Rat, and there were a bunch of authors that were fairly common. And I read a bunch of Conan. So I was a nerdy, you know, middle schooler and trying to get all the books that I could there. So I did all that. And then, you know, I recently moved from a big house to a little house because my kids have graduated and gone off to college. And my wife and I were like, we don't need
this much house.
So I thought of myself that I had started writing, you know, seriously kind of after college in grad school. But when I was cleaning up like my house and I had all this old schoolwork, I was writing stories, terrible stories, you know, all the way back into elementary school. So I think it's been something I was doing for longer than I thought.
Oh, okay. That's fun to find that stuff and read it, I'm sure.
I know. Well, some of it was okay, but a lot of it was kind of, you know.
Any good ideas in there you can pull out and make
no, I don't 1981 me was really on top of things. I played a ton of D&D too, because D&D hit big right when I was about 12. And so a lot of it was like D&D inspired and that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, in grad school, in college, I took a couple of creative writing classes, but I was a geology major and I went to grad school for geology. And that became my career. And so I wrote a little bit. I actually joined a romance writers group on Usenet in like 1993. And that was fun because like I was just trying not to swirl mud around little tubes, which was my day-to-day there.
Yeah.
And it was all women, and they were all writing romance novels. And I started a romance novel. I got, I don't know, 20, 30 pages in, but I was doing grad school and too busy. But it was funny because they would ask me questions about what guys thought about stuff, and so I was like this nerdy guy Yoda for a whole bunch of people writing romance novels. I'm not sure I gave them any good advice except words that guys never say. I tried to do that. Yeah. But yeah, and I did the children's book sort of end of grad school in '96. But then Flames Over Frosthelm actually, I started in about, what was it, 2004. I'd gotten my professor job. I was teaching college. My kids were young, but I was like, you know what? I have always wanted to write something. I will try to write a fantasy novel. And so I started writing that, and I really wrote it basically in very small pieces over 14 years. Well, the first draft over 7 years. Just, like when I'd get to summer and I didn't have teaching to do, or when we had a holiday break or something, sometimes I'd throw in another couple chapters. My wife was really excited about it at the beginning, but I was so slow that she quit reading. She was reading like every chapter as I wrote it, and she was like, "This is too torturous." Yeah, and so I finished the first draft 2011, 2012, and then I hired a developmental editor at that point because I was new to all of this, and I thought that would really help. Yeah, and they were super helpful and pointed out where I was kind of falling into, I don't know, tropes, or where my characters were being whiny or unrealistic, or and there was a really interesting moment where I thought I was. My Inquisitors Guild books have a lot of female characters, and I had thought when I wrote that first draft that I'm actually having tons of cool female characters, and the editor was like, "I know that you think you have a lot of female characters, but if you actually counted them, you wouldn't." And I was like, "What? No!" And so, being a scientist, I actually made a spreadsheet and counted them all, and I was at like 20% female characters.
Oh, wow.
And the editor was like, the reason you think that is because the books are all fantasy books especially, are so male focused.
Oh, yeah.
That if you just do more than that,
right, a little bit more, it feels like a lot.
Yeah. And so I went back, and it is exactly 50-50 in Flames Over Frosthelm if you count them. That is, and so I've tried to do that with all my other books too, just to. And I get complaints and reviews sometimes about how, women don't think like that, and I'm like, I know plenty of women, and they do all kinds of things, or
right,
or women's musculature wouldn't be enough to swing swords. And I'm like, you don't have any problem with the Augur's Pool or the
right.
Massive magical wizard guy, but you're here talking to me about muscle ratios or something. I'm like, screw you.
This is just a fun book. Chill out.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was like, it's a fantasy, so I can make things.
I can make anything I want.
Right. So much fantasy is based in like European nobility, where women's rights were completely screwed over, and there wasn't any kind of equality. And so I was like, why can't I make my fantasy city one where gender bias is not a thing? It's certainly a thing in the real world, but I'm writing a fantasy story, so why not have that be part of the fantasy? So that's one thing I've tried to do in them. So that was really interesting to hear that from the editor, because I thought I was like some shining beacon of
I'm doing so great.
Might suck as much as the average book. So that was fun. And then I sent that around to I sent it to an editor at my wife's parents' company, and they don't publish stuff like that, but she was really helpful also in kind of giving me some help. And so I started editing it pretty hardcore edits, because it was my first book and I didn't really know what I was doing. And and I was also coaching soccer and being a dad and teaching school and having a career. And so it took another 7 years before I was kind of ready to publish that. So that book is 14 years, start to finish. And now I have 9 more. So you can see that I've sped up some, but yeah, I tried to interest agents in that. I went the traditional publishing route for a while and sent out a bunch of queries and didn't get anywhere with it. But part of my background, I self-published a computer game back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Called Snood. I don't know. You might. Some people have heard of it. I don't know. It was pretty big.
What is it called? I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Snoot or Snood?
Snood. It had little cartoon heads that you shot around trying to make sets of them.
Oh, man. Here, I think I found a picture. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oop.
So anyway, I did that in grad school in '96, and it got pretty huge, and we had a couple 100 million downloads. So self-publishing my books didn't seem quite as scary after, doing that with the software thing. And so I figured, why not try it that way?
Yeah, I'm going to try to share my screen real quick and see if I got it. Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
There's Snood. Boom. Yep. That is so cool. Ha! That's awesome. Yeah. Has that been like, have you been able to, what's the word I'm trying to think of, like convert it to like mobile or on anything now, or is it kind of like non-existent?
Yeah, well, it was biggest, like I published it in 1996. It got pretty big around 2000, 2002. There was this is going to reveal how old I am and how things used to work, but there was a newspaper article.
It was huge.
Yeah, Snood was pretty huge. There was a newspaper article that got syndicated about the game. And so it was written in the Philadelphia Inquirer, but it got carried by a bunch of other newspapers, on the wire service. And so at that point, it went from bigger than I ever thought it would be to enormous. And so, so that was really cool. Yeah.
How in the world did you even do that? Like you're writing stuff, you're a geologist and all this, and then all of a sudden you just make a game that takes off.
My life is a story of half-assing a lot of different things, and so and some of them work and some of them fail spectacularly. But yeah, and a lot of it is trying to not do what I'm supposed to do. So it was a lot more fun to work on little computer games in grad school than it was to actually, determine the paleoclimate of CRRIs and the
that's awesome,
Equatorial Atlantic. The story there is my wife bought a new Mac and I wanted to learn how to program on Macs. And so I started writing little games, and Snood was the 3rd or 4th little game I wrote to.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it really took off somehow. Lorne Michaels plays every day, the SNL guy.
Oh,
He's actually had his assistants write me to update it.
No way. That's awesome.
Michael Crichton played Delia Ephron, Nora Ephron's sister. Yeah, there were Liev Schreiber. He's played. There are a whole bunch of and it was on The Sopranos. It was in one episode of The Sopranos.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have this in your bio? Do you have the creator of?
Yeah. If you look at my website bio.
Okay.
But,
that's so cool, man.
It's the weirdest
That's awesome.
It's the weirdest kind of thing because, that's the thing that I have done with my life that will be the biggest thing, and it was when I was 29. So it is all downhill from 2001.
And it was just something you were doing to distract yourself from the things you should have been doing.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And it's by today's standards, it's totally cheesy. I made all the art in MacDraw, and I'm a terrible artist. And the sound effects are all...
You drew all the faces yourself?
Yeah, and the sound effects are all me going blue, and
That's so cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a cheesy time. Yeah.
Oh, here, Lopez says it was in an episode of The Office too?
Oh, yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I know. It was in the credits of The Daily Show. It's been on SNL.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was mentioned on 30 Rock.
Wow.
Alec Baldwin's character says he's going to go home and drink scotch and play Snood.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Mr. Papadopoulos. And Mr. Mike Molman has joined as well. Right when he came in, it's all downhill. Always when you come in, Mike.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. That's so cool. That's like it's like a pop culture thing.
It was, yeah. It was in a terrible Ben Affleck movie, Christmas movie.
Wow.
And then Undeclared was a short-lived show by the people who did Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Because Freaks and Geeks was high school, and they wanted to do a series that was college. And Snood was big in college at that point, so they got a bunch of sweatshirts. We had a whole clothing line and everything.
So cool, man.
So they dressed up the dorm rooms with Snood posters and things, and then got canceled after one season. But it was that was cool.
Oh,
but anyway, yeah. So self-publishing didn't look too scary once I.
After that,
yeah, and then in 2021 or so, the pandemic had happened, and the college I was working for was going through some stuff, and they ended up cutting my department. And so I was like, well, I'm having fun writing books. Maybe I'll take their early retirement buyout, which was very early because I was, 52 or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, I've been writing books as my main gig since then. I have little puzzle games I made too, the Dr. Esker's Notebook.
Wow.
They're like escape room card games. So, like I said, I half-assed tons of things. And
if you half-ass a million things, then you're bound to get one of them to take off.
Yeah. Anyway.
Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you just put one egg in a bajillion baskets.
A fraction of an egg. Yeah, one scrap of eggshell.
A little eggshell in everyone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm with Mike. Retired at 52 and doing something you love. You're living the dream, man. You can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do it without Snood. Kind of big. That gave me the kind of privilege and ability to decide I'm going to because I don't make money off the books. Like I make about $4,000 a year, but I spend more than that. So that's not mortgage money or anything, even if I wasn't paying for covers and stuff. So I haven't figured out. As I've gone, I've sort of realized that I don't care if they make money as long as people are enjoying them. Which is a total luxury in my position that I can do, and I get it. And that's not something that everybody can do, but I'm more interested in kind of finding readers who enjoy them than I am in,
Well, yeah, I'd say you're doing it the right way because you're getting lots of reviews and you're making money. A lot of people don't make money, and a lot of people don't write any books, let alone all the books you've written. So just keep at it, and I feel like if you're doing it for the right reasons, like you are, the money side I think will eventually come. You just got to keep doing what you're doing.
My ambition at some point is to have somebody make a shitty movie out of my books. Like some sci-fi thing that goes direct to video. But I would be like, I have arrived. If there's
someone could be playing Snood in it.
Yeah, right. Something like that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, it's your time's coming. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It doesn't. I told you I peaked at 28. I'm gonna sit here doing this and amusing myself, and gradually fall apart and die. That's the plan.
Living the dream. I think it's amazing, man. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so this is flying by. We're already at 55 minutes. So we only have a little bit more time. So we kind of already talked about some of my process questions I had for you. Like normally I like to talk about if an author is a plotter or a pantser. You've made it clear that you are a complete seat of your pants writer.
Yeah.
Now, even with some of the sci-fi stuff, you can just sit down and go. You don't have to plot anything out.
Most of the time. At some point I get to a point in the book, and it's usually like 60-70% of the way through, where I have thrown up a lot of balls, and I have to start catching them.
All right, and remember what you wrote.
And in Kenai especially, the timeline in that book is very complicated, and so I actually had to kind of outline this is going to happen and this is why this happens. And I have a whole document. And almost every book I'll end up with some notes at the end that are kind of, I think this should happen, or I have to remember that I created this character and I either need to edit them out of the book or I need something to happen because they were there, so I do some sort of structuring. And then, I write the first draft a lot of it just seat of the pants. But when I go back and edit, I am always like, okay, this was the story. How do I fit all these other things better into the story? Which parts do I throw out because they don't fit what's going on? Or I didn't know, that Luke was his father. That Vader was Luke's father. Now I need to go back and make the story make sense, like that kind of thing.
Right.
So, so it's not that I am entirely just like, here's my first draft. I have to do a whole bunch of editing.
That's interesting though. That's pretty cool. I like it. All right, let's see. Which questions do I normally ask that we haven't talked about? Okay, so this is a good one. So when you're working on a book, because now you're self-publishing and you're retired, so you have the luxury to have the time for it, but you also want to get things done by a certain time, I'm sure. So when you're writing a book and you want to get it done, do you set like daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals? Do you just try to write every day, or are you just like, I'm going to write when I write and it's going to get done when it gets done? Like, how do you manage all that?
So I've done NaNoWriMo a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And there's only one book that I've written all of in a NaNoWriMo. No, there's two that I've come pretty close. One of them, Mysteries, the Got Trouble. That was 100,000 words, all from November 1st to November 30th.
Really? That's impressive. I've ever gone.
I flew through that because it was so fun. Yeah. And my process only really works if I write every day.
Okay.
Because when I'm writing every day, I only write for an hour or two a day. When I do Nano, sometimes I'm doing 2 a day, like at noon, and then after midnight, I'll do 2 kind of sessions. But I need the time in between to kind of come up with what's next, because my whole process is what's next. I mean, that's the seat of the pants thing. But I need to know, what to kind of write. And then if I write for an hour or two, I run out of stuff and I have to kind of not. But, as I fall asleep, as I'm washing the dishes, I'll still be kind of writing because I'm thinking about the what's next. And if I don't write every day, I don't get in that zone where I don't, where I'm thinking about it all the time, and I go way slower and I screw stuff up. So when I want to really get something done, that kind of daily is the best. I also very frequently, and not so much with a couple of the books, but frequently I will get to a point where I'm kind of stuck and I will run out of gas. Yeah. And I won't know, like, often it's like with What Grows from the Dead, I got to a point that was really about 85% of the way through, and the mystery was starting to really come into focus and the bad guys were taking actions. And I was like, God, I don't know how to end this. And I actually left it for a year and came back and wrote the last kind of 15,000 words and got it all figured out. But it took me a long time to kind of get out of the paralysis headspace and into the, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And with Daros, like I said, I actually took a break on that one because I was stuck with the perspective. Like the teenage girl perspective was not omniscient enough to write the whole story. And so I needed that other character, that other kind of hook into the story to make it work. And it was only when I had that idea, which was a year and a half later, that book kind of made sense. So yeah, some of them need some time to kind of bake or fester or whatever the right verb is.
I like those both. They kind of mean the same thing, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's a good approach. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the flip side of that, when you are writing, are you a creature of habit? Like, do you always write in the morning or at night? Do you always write in your office or always on your laptop? Or do you switch it up and write just whenever, or go places like a coffee shop or something to write How about that? Do you have things that you always do when you write, or do you mix it up?
Um, uh, I have very poor life skills. So most of my books are written after midnight when I should be in bed. And I put off writing until midnight and then kind of start and see how far I go.
Yeah,
That is my, yeah,
that's your go-to.
yeah. There are a lot of video games and a lot of procrastination happens before that.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do.
Yeah.
Hey, it's working. You're writing books. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When I'm really cranking, I always write at my computer because that's where I'm comfortable. And I don't always write in the same software. I've jumped around from Word to Google Docs to
Okay.
some other things. But yeah, I'm most comfortable in a big comfy chair in front of my computer and just kind of going from there.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Last question. People always want to know this. When you're writing, are you someone that likes it silent, or do you like there to be background noise or music? And if there is music, does it have to be lyrics or instrumental only?
Yeah. So I don't always play music, but when I do, I have a Pandora channel that is all movie music.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the movie scores are great because they don't have words.
Yeah.
Some of them are familiar, some of them are not, but that
Yeah.
music is all dramatic. And so it really gets me kind of in the mood to write big scenes with a lot of emotion and stuff. And so, yeah, so that is, I kind of seeded, because it picks songs on its own, but I seeded it with a bunch of Star Wars and sci-fi movies, and Band of Brothers has a great soundtrack. I don't know if you listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Conan the Barbarian is absolutely my favorite movie soundtrack ever. It is the original one, not the new one, but the
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
original
Arnold one.
Yeah, it's Basil Poldoris, who's a really great movie composer. He didn't do as many things as John Williams or all of that, but he's really solid, and that music is so perfect.
Oh
for Conan. Yeah,
it's awesome. That's cool. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let me shout out somebody before we start to wrap things up. But Mark from Mark's Book Lounge is here. Thanks for popping in, my friend. We appreciate you. So I think we'll start wrapping it up here. But thanks for coming on, man. This has been a blast. I loved hearing your story, and little did I know I had a pop culture superstar, famous guy here with me.
No, I am a third-rate celebrity at best, and rapidly dropping. You are going to get no cred for.
I'm adding it. I'm going to add it in the hashtags. I'm going to add it in the description so that everybody knows.
To tell you how lame it is, I had a Wikipedia article about me, and it got deleted. Yeah, the editor said this guy is only famous for one thing, and so I was stricken from Wikipedia. Snood is still on there, but I am not.
Oh man, did you take a picture of it before they deleted it?
You can see it if you go back and unedit my page. You can see what was there. But no, I am not Wikipedia material. So
man,
so that's Wikipedia.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, thank you for coming on. It's been a blast.
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun. I'm excited about your books. I'm happy for you. You're doing something that's so cool. I love that you have the space and the time to go after this dream and write. I think that's awesome. And it's something we all aspire to do. All of us readers and writers, that's what we want to do too. And it's just gets me pumped when I get to see somebody doing it. So kudos to you. And
you got your show.
Oh yeah. Yep. And anytime you have a book come out going forward, or you have anything you want to shout out, or if you just want to come on and chat about something, let me know. And I'd love to have you back anytime.
All right. Yeah. I'd love to be here.
Awesome. Cool. Before I go into my closing thing, I can give you the floor if you want to shout out your books, or if there's anything I didn't mention that you want to shout out, you can have the floor.
Oh yeah. No, I just, if you want to see me trying my hardest to be funny, go for The Glorious and Epic Tale of Lady Isovar. It's heroic fantasy with knights, and it's got this completely over the top lady knight hero, and it is the most fun I've had writing fantasy ever. So yeah, that one I would love it if more people had a look at that. But yeah,
Awesome.
all
All
of them
right.
are good though. So yeah.
I will add that one, a link for that one down in the
Oh,
description.
okay, cool.
People can check it out.
Awesome. Thank
And
you so
then
much.
I should ask, around when do you think that cool romance book that you're doing dual POVs with another author? When do you think
Oh
that's
yeah,
ready?
that one I don't know for sure because my co-writer has an agent,
Oh,
and
okay.
so we'll have to share it with her
Wow.
agent
Yeah.
and see if the agent wants to take it on. And because she gets first refusal, it's
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
probably contractual. But if she doesn't want to, then we'll have to decide whether we want to try to find another agent and go
Oh,
traditional
yeah.
or do it ourselves. I think we'll probably do it ourselves, and in that
Yeah.
case, it would probably be end of February. It would be out,
Oh,
but it's really I can't promise that because I don't know
right. It just
what
depends. Yeah.
how it's going to go.
But close. You guys are getting close. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
we're
yeah.
basically done. Yeah,
That's
we've had
awesome.
a bunch of
Congrats.
people read it, and we've done edits and everything. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Very
it's exciting.
cool. All right. So we'll keep an ear out for that. We'll watch your oh, Mike said that you do some good improv.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. I've been doing improv comedy for 20 years.
What? That's
And
awesome.
another thing I am half-assing. Yeah,
Hey, that's cool, man. That
yeah.
is fun.
Mike actually came to one of my shows, or one of my
Really?
club shows. He didn't see me, but
Oh, that's so cool. I
yeah.
love improv. I used to there used to where I moved from. I need to find a place here now, but in Michigan, I there was a place right in the city next to me, and I used to go all the time. It was so fun to go to
Oh, yeah.
those. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool. How
Well, I
long
was
have
in
you been doing that? You said like 20 years or something?
Yeah, yeah. I started 20 years this month. I started in
Wow.
2006. Yeah.
That's so
So,
cool, man. Well,
yeah.
you are an interesting fellow, my
Oh,
friend.
well,
I
thank
love
you.
it. I love it. That's awesome. Well, now next time you come on, be prepared. I'm gonna have make you do a whole improv segment.
Okay. It is really hard to do on Zoom and with one person, but we can try it.
That is true. That is true.
All
Maybe we'll talk about it before, and we can figure out how to
right.
do it. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, thank you again. It was a blast, and thank you everybody in the chat. You guys were
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
as
Thanks for
always.
everybody who came by.
Yes. And thank you everyone in on replay. We appreciate you too. I will be back again soon for one of these, so keep an eye out on the socials and on the tubes. But until we see you in that next one, as I always say, have a great night. Be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody. Take it easy.